Welcome, everybody, to Serving in Business. I am fired up for my new guest here, Joe Siecinski. He is the co-founder and owner of brainSHARE Business Mentors. Did you hear mentors? This is why I want this gentleman on. He knows his stuff. Hey, Joe, welcome.
Steve, an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me and letting me spend a little bit of time with you and your audience.
And I do want to say, audience, we want to thank him for his service. He did military service, and as all military service, they should be thanked for what they've done. And thank you, Joe. Let's get into this. We're serving in business. How did you start brainSHARE and why?
Well, I retired in 2007, and my goal was to go buy an island and make it a scuba diving resort. And as you may remember, in 2007, 2008, the housing market crashed, and all my investments were in real estate. So I figured I got to do something. And I looked around and I saw, especially 2008, so many businesses struggling and crashing and burning, and so many doors closing. I said, I want to help them. What can I do with my background, my knowledge, my skills to help businesses not crash and burn? And that's when I started the company. And my goal has always been to help, at the beginning, it was help 200 businesses. And then 2,000, the last couple of years, I've been helping 2,000 businesses. My goal is to help 10,000 this next year.
That's fantastic. And the audience, hear these words he's saying. He's calling himself a mentor. He's a coach, but he's a mentor. He'll stand side by side to you. Joe, I noticed in your bio, you've got some awards. Tell me about those awards, because people need to know how good you really are.
Well, we can go back to, if you talk about awards, I can go all the way back to my wrestling days. I was state champion in high school, a Distinguished Honor Graduate Leadership Award in the military. I've got President's Award from HP. I got awarded the top 10 business coaches in Silicon Valley. So I have the honor and privilege of helping people. And to me, the awards aren't, that's because you're doing the right stuff. If you're helping people, the universe becomes a better place, and that's what it's about. It's my honor and privilege to help people.
No, and that's fantastic. And he calls it his ultimate business framework. Talk to us a little about that. I know that's your core of your business, and there's much more than that. Let's talk about that.
Well, see, so many businesses never make it past year 2 or never actually really build a business. They have a job. So building a business is like building a house, and you must start at that foundation level. And that foundation level is setting your goals and then allocating your time to achieve your goals. That's the one that most people miss. And that's one of the core things is my proprietary small business calendaring system, and then standards, consistency, and then finance, and then moving into marketing, which is your target market, unique selling proposition, guarantee, sales training. It's amazing to me at how many businesses don't do sales training. I mean, without sales, you don't have a business. Sales training, and then your marketing, tactical and strategic, and then putting your systems together, and then the right team. And that becomes the hard part. And that team is very different when you get up to growing the business than it does at the bottom. And then you move to from profit and loss focus to valuation, and you look at expanding or exiting. It is simple. It's not easy. And what I get to do is I walk you through every step of the way.
Well, let's jump on the simple and not easy. That's a very interesting phrase, but I know what you mean. But let's expound upon that, because people can understand this. They're going to be better in business, correct?
So it's like anything. I had a client the other day. We were just doing goal setting. Okay, just setting your goals. It's simple, right? Well, until you've done it a couple of times, it's not simple. It's easy to have the knowledge, but to actually implement, you've got to understand it, and you can't understand it until you do it. So when you're setting your goals, you've got to do it a couple times, and then you'll see, oh, you know what? Now I got it. Put in your calendar. Now I got it. I mean, you know this. How many times when you were first doing the podcast that it was, oh man, I got to get better. You practice, and practice makes you better.
Yeah, that's interesting, because we all know that, especially when we played sports.
Yes.
While we if you played football or two-a-days in the summer, like this coach is the craziest guy in the world, making us throw up and drink all this water and throw up. But there's a method to their madness, right?
Absolutely. And business, every piece of building a business, every brick, every frame, every window, building your house, just like building your business, you've got to practice it until it gets better. And then you'll continue doing that. You can always get better. You can always get better. You can always get better, even if it's 1%. In business, it's not about a huge 50% change. It's about 51% changes.
Amen. That folks, that is one of the best. I say 1% every day for a year, it's 365%. Joe's just broken it down to even simpler terms, 50 times 1%. We all can do that, whether it's weekly, whatever that time frame works for you. There's an interesting word in your bio that I read this morning, and you got this award called the Leadership Award. I'm not going to talk about the award. We already talked about words, but how does leadership tie into running a business, owning a business, in sales, all those types of business titles?
Well, and I'm going to make a comment first. You lead people, you manage processes. So many people get this confused that you manage people. You don't manage people. You manage the process. You lead the people. You give them the right tools, goals, objectives that's aligned together to achieve the company goals. And if they're not aligned with the overall goal, then you're not leading. And there's many different leadership styles. You can lead from the front, you can lead from the back, you can lead from the side. It all depends on your individual style. And the most important thing is understanding yourself so that you know how you lead and you can move forward with that. The most powerful thing you have is yourself. Be yourself. I am who I am, says Popeye the Sailor Man. Right?
Yes, he does. So let's take this further with leading. This is serving in business. Is a leader servant?
Yes. So when I worked at a little company called HP back in the day, Dave Packard had this your typical org chart where you got it's a triangle at the top, and he go in most companies this guy at the top kind of craps on everybody. Well, that's not the way we do things. And he turned it upside down and he said the leader is actually at the bottom of the pyramid and his job is to support everybody above them, give them the tools, systems, and processes because they're the closest to the issue. Let them work. They should tell you what to do, not you telling them what to do. That's leadership to me.
Yeah. And I tell you, that's one of the best definitions I've ever heard. An audience, you're going to have his contact info in this podcast. I suggest to reach out. He's willing to do. Are you willing to do one-on-ones to get discovery one-on-ones to get to know somebody?
Absolutely. My job is to help people. Anybody, in fact, if you look at my LinkedIn, whatever it says, anybody that asks for help, I'm going to help them. It's that simple. Life is fun. Let's have some. Business should be fun. If you do it right, business supports your life, not be your life. And most people don't understand how to build a business that works without you. And that's what I have the privilege of helping people do.
Well, Joe's putting a lot of gold nuggets here. I'm going to be broke by the end of this podcast because I'm going to pay him for this, but it's well worth it because you're all getting some value that's just incredible. Let's talk about who your ideal industry person that you like to work with or what you're looking for in that person you want to help.
Okay, so there's two of them. There's one at that $1 million or less that really needs the help, but really can't afford one-on-one mentorship or even group mentorship. And that's why I've put together brainSHARE.online, which is an e-learning system with 13 courses, over 200 lessons to build the business that works without you. And it starts from the foundation and works up. So any business that's, a business, not a solopreneurship, that's the target for there. The ones that are my one-on-one, the ones that I can really help are the 20 million that want to get to 50 million and kind of hit that valley of death like Vern Harnish talks about in Scaling Up. By the way, if you haven't read Scaling Up, must read. Traction by Gino Wickman, must read. Lots of books that if you want to learn more, or if you want to earn more, learn more. Life is simple.
So how much do you study a day?
I read 2 books a month right now, and That's so good. In fact, if you want to know, I'm reading right now, De-Escalate: How to Calm an Angry Person in 90 Seconds by Douglas Knoll. Fantastic, utilizing some NLP techniques and some other things to really help out Z economy. Um, I my dad told me you can learn two ways. You can learn from your own mistakes or from other people's. But Joe, why do you always have to learn from your own? So that's actually when I started going, you know what? To learn from other people's mistakes or experiences, read a book. It's simple.
Well, and it's interesting you do 2 books a month. That's pretty heroic, and probably the wrong word to use, but that's a lot. What would you suggest a client or the audience that they should be reading, daily, monthly?
My personal is I like to read 20 minutes a night. So right before I go to bed, it's part of my routine. Routines, Atomic Habits by James Clear talks about this. Create a habit and it becomes natural. So part of my nighttime routine: lay down, go to bed, pick up the book, read 20 minutes. And for me, since I'm a visual learner, it kind of helps me relax and go to sleep. Unless it's a really good book like Harry Potter.
then you're not getting to bed.
Then you stay up all night reading the thing.
That's funny.
But that 20 minutes is for me enough and it kind of puts it into your subconscious mind and allows your subconscious mind to process things while you're sleeping. We're not taught how to use our subconscious mind, by the way.
Yeah, that's very true. The paradigms are a whole different. We're not going to get into that. That's something Joe would love to get in with you guys. If you're interested, again, his contact info will be in the podcast. I'd love for you to reach out to him. And it's interesting you do 20 minutes before you go to bed, because when you wake up, it is in your subconscious. What do I start your day, huh?
Yep. Well, yeah, if that's and then stuff pops into your brain and you jot it down right then and plug it in your calendar to think about it or whatever. The other thing about time is so many people create lists of to-dos. The probability of getting something done on a to-do list is 17%. If you want to get something done, put it on your calendar. The probability is 80%, because once you allocate the time to do something, the probability of doing it is much higher. If you have it on a list, there's no time allocated to do it, so it's probably not going to get done.
I have never heard that before, audience. That's a tip I've never heard. I've talked to a lot of people. The 2180 rule, we'll call it the Joe rule.
The Joe rule.
We just put it out in the podcast universe. The Joe rule, 2180 rule. Do it on your calendar. And I believe you're right, because it's easy to go, I'm not doing this today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it this day. Brilliant.
Brian Tracy talks about that in Eat the Frog.
Just heard about that book a couple days ago. It's a weird name, but it's apropos.
It's if you like that one's kind of a story. The other book on procrastination I like is Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield. He kind of just hits you right in the face. It's like he doesn't soft shoe it. It's like stop being stupid.
Yeah, that's so true. So you do books. What's so with your clients, do you start with a discovery call? How do you build into working with them?
Well, first of all, we have a conversation. Where you at? Where you want to go? How are you going to get there? What's your plan to get there? Kind of here's what I do, and I customize it based on where you're at and what you're doing. And then is there synergy? I'm picky about my clients. I got a guarantee in 4 months I pay for myself, or I give you all your money back. In 13 years, I've given money back twice, and I should have never taken those clients. They weren't a good fit. So I'm picky about who I work with. I've only got so much one-on-one time, and I want to make sure that we're going to get results, and they're going to do the work, and I'm going to work with them to achieve their goals.
Well, that's interesting. 2 in 13 years. That's a pretty remarkable record. I think that even outdoes the New York Yankees World Championship. So I think Joe just passed the legends there. Let's finish up and thank you again, Joe, for being on. And everybody, his contact information is going to be in chat. Just the 2180 rule we just talked about, that's a golden nugget. It can make you a lot of money, but it's going to make you money serving. Again, we're not talking about selling. Joe's not about selling. He's about making you a better person so you can serve others. The money will come. It always does, and Joe will tell you that. So in closing, Joe, I want you to give us an in-depth business tip that you could help the audience? I know you have probably a great one. Tell us what that is and why.
So to me, time is your most valuable asset. How you utilize it will determine the success of your life and your business. So how are you utilizing your time? How are you making yourself better? You know, Jim Rohn talks about this all the time with focus more on yourself than you do on your business, and everything will work out. Life's pretty simple when we keep it that way.